first thought of the balloons when we were watching our Christmas social, which was to go and see the film Up in 3D, and it's a film about an old widower who wants to go on an adventure and fills his house with helium balloons so that he can go to South America. And this struck us. Rather than go to South America for our Christmas social, we went down the road to the South American cafe, but after that we decided that we should celebrate our first birthday using balloons in a mobile exhibition.
Taping a bit of string to the floor and covering it with a rock. We decided to present the work that we've been doing over the past year as work on 8 different sort of rural building typologies. So we have sort of worked on over the past year. So there's been black houses, ruins, old sort of industrial buildings. We're hopefully trying to show that we've got a variety of approaches to each of these typologies.
We've got 8 projects, and each project's got 8 boards, and so we've got 64 balloons to do. We've currently got about a dozen, and it's taken 40 minutes, so we've got an hour to do the rest. So it's going to be a close one, but I think we'll get there. So this is the last balloon, which will mean our exhibition's finished and ready to open to the public. We're really excited about how that's going to go, because we've been working really hard on these projects all year, and now's the time where we find out if people like what we've been doing. So we're nervous and excited, but I think we've done as well as we can do. As well as exhibiting our first year's work in practice, this journey gives us the opportunity to connect with the island residents and to discuss their needs for building design and development.
So the idea of this extension would be to try and visually reduce the sort of...
Like it would step it down.
Yeah. But it's just how we do this extension that makes it work and sit well against the existing building.
Yeah.
And it would suit us actually that somewhere we have a linked doorway that we can have the whole house, including the new bit.
Yep.
But in the summertime we can live in the 2-bedroom bit and quite happily rent out the rest of the aesthetic.
Can I ask what happens on this elevation here at present?
Nothing. But
because the reason I ask is, if you're trying to stay away from this corner and you're interested in banking things and getting something with a slope for the PVs, I wonder how it would work if you took a bank up here, which protected against the worst of the weather, which is southwesterly. It gave you a perfect pitch for your arrays, and then you could put some new accommodation in here with a kind of glass link between the two bits, so that visually they were two distinct as old and new, and they were actually separated by a little light corridor. But it also gave you shelter against the worst of the wind while benefiting from the solar orientation. So I mean, I've got absolutely no idea about what accommodation you want in your new bit or in your old bit, but it seems that might be a part of the site that you could work with.
One of our first clients, first time we came here a year ago, they were the first people to the door, Ian and Elspeth. And we've been designing a small house extension for them that's in for planning permission at the moment. Credit to the clients, they've been very keen for the design to be quite contemporary, which has allowed us to kind of express ourselves a little bit. In this particular project, the cottage already has like an existing little lean-to extension to it. And what we did, rather than creating something completely different, completely new language, we actually drew upon the sort of the form and the shape of the existing little extension, but just sort of treated it in a modern way.
As people come in today and said, I'm now reimagining how I might do things. As one person said, I just want to do a new house right now because I'm full of ideas and enthusiasm. I just want to start the whole process now. And somebody else said to me, we were going to do an extension, and it was going to be a kind of off-the-shelf thing, but I don't think that's right anymore. I think so. We've stopped that whole project because it wasn't going to be the right thing to do. So those are two examples of little bits of feedback that we've had from today that make it all feel worthwhile.
I think that, forgetting the content, the actual exhibition, I think it's gone down quite well today.
Yeah,
as
the
well.
balloons and stuff.
I think people have kind of appreciated what it's trying to do.
3, 2, 1, cheers!
Very good.
With its rich traditional built environment, Tiree has given us the opportunity to develop a diverse range of projects. These exciting challenges demand us to approach projects with modern thinking, which is sensitive to the island's unique architectural heritage.
Clients came to us late last year with a project to renovate the old mill. Originally they were talking about it potentially becoming a business, but after discussions with us and them thinking about it a bit more, it's become a development for a dwelling, for a private house. And we're in the final stages of completing a feasibility study for them. We've gone through the process of doing the designs, and today we're going to be getting a cost review completed. What's great about this project is it's one of the most historical buildings on the island. To be able to work on it and bring it back to life, it's quite an exciting thing to be doing. The clients have already invested a lot of time and money in restoring the wheel and its mechanism. They do actually have the ambition that this can be used to generate some form of power for the property. There is going to be a partition that will go up to the ceiling here, and behind it there's going to be all the various machines and mechanisms that are going to be associated with the wheel. We did talk, there were plans that looked at putting an opening on the ground floor in there, but the clients were keen to have a kitchen unit that ran all the way along. So going to restore that opening, and then there's going to be a corridor that not only links this building to the extension outside, but the corridor will then turn around and provide access to the second part of the building behind there.
With many of our current projects based on the island, it's important that we maximise this journey and visit our clients.
So it's nice to say actually just concentrate on the roof as opposed to having to think about everything else.
Because that's what, you know, that's something I really couldn't do.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if I sweated away for a long time I might come up with
It
something.
sounds like you've got enough on your plate already.
Situation, but I appreciate what you've done with some of these other buildings in Tiree. And I think this one's quite a challenge as well.
Yeah,
very much.
It look right given the existing building on the site.
Yeah.
And we updated it to have the ground to floor window there, and this is when we really sort of earn our bread, because it's one thing drawing that in plan, but then you've got to think what it's like in section as well, and how the things go together when the roof joins in, all that kind of business.
Yeah, I think so. I think, as you can see, like the windows all look inland and they want the view out to the sea. Having visited Tiree extensively during our first year in practice, we've been given some fantastic opportunities to plan, develop and design some of the island's most interesting buildings. But if we are to grow and develop as architects and as a practice, we have to cast the net wider and learn more about what architecture in Scotland has to offer.